So this is coconut flan that's done my way. And I'll be honest with you, when I was growing up, I actually didn't love coconut flavored things. So I definitely had to make this an acquired taste for me. I had to try it a few times before it actually clicked. Maybe it was my frontal lobe that developed, but once it really clicked in my brain, I actually was like, okay, I really love this flavor profile and you could do so much with it. It's a cross between a very rich Mexican flan and a creme caramel. It lives right between all of that like overwhelmingly sweetness and then like too light that you're like, ah, man, I was eating flan, I thought, and it's gone now. So this is your sugar for your caramel that's gonna go on the bottom of your pot. I used to do videos like this all the time at Food and Wine in a series called Pastries with Paola, but this is my first time doing it at home and solo filming, so it's chaotic, but it's okay. We adapt, we learn, we try our best. So we're gonna start with our induction burner and we're gonna put it on max heat. And we're gonna do some sugar. So here we have our granulated sugar and we're gonna make that into our caramel. We're gonna take a little bit of water to make a wet sand caramel. When you're doing something like this for the bottom of your pan, it's gonna give it a little more viscosity and it's gonna make it easy to spread. I did a dry caramel as a test run for this, and if I'm being honest, I didn't like it. I didn't love it because it was hard to spread. The only thing that I would note about doing a wet caramel versus a dry is that you have to make sure that you vanquish all of the sugar crystals. But I would say that you don't have to be very like afraid or alarmed or overwhelmed by sugar crystals, or if your syrup or your caramel like crystallizes, because you could just throw it out and start over. It's just sugar, so you don't have to have a cow because of some sugar. Even if you're not a flan lover, you're gonna love this recipe because it is quite one of the best recipes that I've made so far. And it is equal parts tropical, sweet, and just creamy on the tongue. These are all the ingredients that you're going to need for the base of your flan. You're gonna need some eggs, evaporated milk, condensed milk, coconut milk, Dominican vanilla, vanilla bean paste, coconut extract, salt, and brown sugar. The eggs and your condensed milk are going to be the pillar of your flan, and that's what's going to make it unmold perfectly. You're going to use the richness and the structure of the egg yolks and egg whites and combine that with the density and the sugar crystals of your condensed milk. Together, they form like Wonder Twins, and they unite and they make a really beautifully medium dense flan that carries the coconut milk very well. It also helps you kind of feel the Dominican vanilla, the vanilla beans, and the coconut extract very nicely in this. And all of the sugar that we are using is actually going to come from the condensed milk. We're adding brown sugar for a little bit of flavor versus sweetness. I want to kind of echo the caramel sauce that we build on top with the brown sugar inside of the base flan. One thing that I do differently than a lot of people, I either use a blender or an immersion blender. And if you don't have an immersion blender, it's actually just like a blender, a little less powerful because I have one of those Vitamixes, but these guys can do quite a lot of work without having to ever take out your blender from the cubby. We're going to now add our eggs into our bowl. And using our immersion blender, we're going to aerate some of the eggs. This is going to break apart a lot of the proteins in the egg whites to incorporate them nicely with the egg yolks. We're going to set this to the side for a minute, bring out our handy dandy scale and our measuring cup. So we're going to take some evaporated milk and shake it. We're going to add just enough as the recipe calls. Same thing with our coconut milk. There we go. I like to shake it because sometimes the fat likes to rise up And what I want is to make sure that I'm incorporating some of that fat so that it plays nicely with the egg yolks in this recipe. I tear in between each time I'm measuring out everything. See all that fat? Once they get stuck now. And now we're gonna add this to our eggs. I like to make sure that I scrape everything down so that you don't waste it. Now you have a nice little cup holder. Spatula holder? And we're gonna do a full can of condensed milk. This one's pretty cool. I use a Japanese can opener because it just gives me a lot more ease in the kitchen. Especially when I have to travel for work and do off-site events. Very carefully, I'm going to lift this up, and now I'm going to pour all my condensed milk in here. In the recipe itself, I explain the ratios of why this works. And once you know the ratios of why this flan works, you can apply it to any other flavor that you'd like. And that's the beauty of Skilless recipe. So now using our handy dandy scale again, we're going to measure out our brown sugar. I also want to just do a side note. I keep some marshmallows inside of my brown sugar so that I can make sure that the brown sugar stays nice and soft for a prolonged period of time. So if you've ever had issues with your brown sugar crystallizing or getting super hard, just throw some marshmallows in there. And if you can't do marshmallows because you can't eat gelatin, then I would say you can do some bread. Unless if you're, gluten-free. And then if you're gluten-free, you're out of luck. Just kidding. You can use silica packets instead. We're gonna measure out our salt. And this has almost 2 teaspoons of salt in it. I like to evenly distribute it so that there's not just one clump. I'm actually going to bring out my tiny scale because I just bought it and I want to use it. But again, you can use your teaspoons and tablespoons for this or your regular scale. And then vanilla bean paste we measure with our hands. Vanilla and coconut extract. And I don't like to let the vanilla and the coconut extract sit too long inside of the egg mixture without mixing, only because it can coagulate your proteins. Yeah, sounds about right. Give this a final blend. Now we're gonna bring back our caramel. It should be nice and hard, almost like glass. And what I like to do is pour this through a strainer, but maybe I need a bigger strainer. I don't know where my other strainer is. We're gonna carefully pour this in, just to make sure that there's any like egg bits that I missed. To make sure that I scrape this down, because that could be somebody's final bite, you know what I mean? Give that little last bit. And you see there were some bits and bobs from the vanilla bean paste that we were able to catch in our strainer. So we're going to put some hot water to boil. And I'll explain that in a second. So here I think is one of the most important parts of our flan, is covering the top with foil. Carefully. Making sure that we scrunch it up on the sides, like so, so that when we do our water bath, the water doesn't creep up and pull in the flan itself. Should look something like this. So originally when I made this recipe the first time, I used this guy but it actually broke in the oven, and it's not supposed to do that, so I don't ever want to use that again. Hopefully it stops breaking from here. So I'm switching into using this aluminum foil pan, because if it's not broken, why fix it? It's worked for, you know, our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, so it's gonna work for us today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna carefully take our covered flan and place it right in the center of our aluminum foil pan. And with our hot water, we're going to bring it up halfway. And we're doing this because we're going to be able to cook this flan at a more even, slower temperature. When you do a baño Maria or a Bain-Marie or water bath, you're able to cook the protein, the eggs in this flan, slower and more gentle than if you were to put it in the oven without this and just blast it at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour. It's just gonna be scrambled eggs, sweet scrambled egg soup maybe, I don't know. It's just not gonna be fun. We're halfway, and the rest of it will steam. It will kind of become like this little vacuum circulation. It'll keep moving and circulating throughout the oven, and it'll bake. But even so, like I was showing you my pan that broke, whatever, and some water fell onto the surface of my flan. If it wasn't covered, I would have ruined the ratios of my flan because I was being clumsy. And your girl's clumsy. I mean, look at me and my gloves and my little oven gloves. I thought I ordered the kid version. I ordered the grown man version. So we're gonna put this in the oven and we're gonna cook it for about an hour. There you have it. Now you have perfectly made coconut flan. You learned how to make flan. It's not intimidating. It's not scary. It's not something that you can't do at home. You could totally do this at home. I just did it in my home. Yeah, I have a James beard, but maybe you can too one day. Make sure that when you take out your oven, you let it cool down at room temperature before you put it in your fridge to help slow down condensation. You're going to make a little opening in your foil. You're going to want to wait at least 4 hours, but I recommend doing it overnight, that you kind of put your flan in there so that all those delicious proteins, sugar, everything kind of like settles. I hope you enjoyed this sexy, luscious, delicious, bondacious, I don't know if that's a word, coconut flan. I really enjoyed making it with you. So now it's time to steal. What are you waiting for? Go thief. Go. The full written recipe, the ratios, and why it works will live on my Substack. The link is in the description. Subscribe if you haven't already, and subscribe here on YouTube. It's free. Thank you for watching Steal This Recipe, and I hope you make it your own.